Alright guys, welcome back to lab 2.2, and in this lab we're gonna do a project which is a little more complicated, which requires you to use loops and repetition and so forth. So basically the lab is called Another Brick in the Wall, and in this lab you will use nested loops to draw a large brick wall using as little code as possible. Alright, so the emphasis here is as little code as possible. You're supposed to use loops and repeat blocks so that you don't have to copy and paste the same code over and over again. Alright, so part 1 is brick by brick, which means you're supposed to write a snap script to draw a 20 times 10 brick in the lower left corner of the stage when the green flag is clicked. Alright, and then when you finally got that, you're supposed to modify your code and then draw 2 bricks side by side. That means right beside it. Alright, so we're gonna start with that first. We're gonna draw a brick at the lower edge of at the lower left edge. So you might be wondering, how do we determine where is the left edge? So it's very simple actually, and we actually learned this way back before. We're going to use the X and Y position to determine the position of the sprite, right? So we wanted to put there, right, so I can't drag it all the way to the edge, but it's supposed to touch the edge of the sprite is supposed to touch the very left edge of the canvas, right? So it says here that it's negative 227 and negative 173 on the Y position. So roughly you can estimate, and I've tested this myself, the actual X position that you want is negative 240 and the actual Y position that you want is negative 180. Alright, so it's not very precise here because we use our mouse to drag it, but according to what I've read, the very edge position is negative 240 and the Y position is negative 180. Alright, so we'll delete those and we'll use this block. If you can remember this block, very good. It's used to set the sprite at where we want it. So we want it at negative 240 and negative 180. And now if you can see a very small dot over there, it's like a dot, that's actually the edge of the sprite. So it's correct, we want it exactly to be there. Okay, so now I want to clear the stage first. This is actually a method to kind of reset the sprite and the canvas, so it'll be everything in the middle, very easy for you to do, so that you don't have to keep deleting and making new projects just to reset, right? Okay, now we're gonna start to draw the actual brick. So before this, the normal way to draw is we use the move 10 steps, alright? But now we want to be extra precise, so we're gonna use the change X position by 10 and then change Y position by 10, right? We're gonna go to that later. So it's 20 times 10 bricks, so X is supposed to be 20 and Y is supposed to be 10, correct? So we just drew a small edge, but we're not done yet. We're gonna continue drawing, right? So we're gonna take another change X and change Y block. This is negative 20 because we want it to move backwards, and this is negative 10 because we want it to move down, right? Oops, I forgot to put up the pen up block, so we'll do that. Okay, and finally, as you can see, we successfully drew a small brick. So now it's your turn. You're supposed to make another brick right beside it, and you should experiment by yourself how to do that. Just continue doing the change X and change Y script, and finally when you got that laid down, you can just use repeat blocks and repeat the action as many times as you want until you build a full row of bricks. Alright? Alright, so now we're at part 2, where we are going to start building a wall. So now that you can build a row of bricks, add code to build a second row above the first row. But the trick here is the second row, the row above the first row, is going to be placed not directly above it. So it's going to be like the edge of the second brick is going to be in the middle of the first layer of bricks. Alright, so it's gonna be a pattern like this. Okay, so just figure out a way to use loops and to use repetition blocks and condition blocks to build a full wall across the canvas. Alright, so this is the full script, and that's just a clear button. Okay, it's okay. So I'm gonna run it for you guys. Let's see how it goes. There you go, beautiful brick wall. And there you go. So if you can figure out on your own how does this script function, that's very good. But if you want to listen, I'm going to go through it step by step. Okay, so the first block is go to 0 and Y, because we want to reset the sprite to make it go into the middle, and then we want to clear the canvas so there isn't any other drawings from before. All right, pen up to make sure that it doesn't draw yet. And then this one is to set color. You can change it to whatever color you want. I'm going to change it to blue. And then here, you might see it's a bit different. We used the go to block before this, but now I'm using the glide block. It actually serves the same function, but it adds a cool animation, cool twist to it, where it will slowly move over to the position. Okay, I'll show you guys how it functions in a sec. So I'm just gonna put a random x and y, and I'm gonna show you how it functions. There you go. But I forgot to put the pen up function. It's okay. I'm just gonna clear the screen. And that's how it works. It just glides very slowly towards the place. It's nothing special. It's not compulsory, but it looks kind of cool, you know. Okay, we'll delete that. And now we'll continue to the repeat blocks. Alright, so I'm going to explain. You're going to see on top here, repeat until and so forth. I'm going to explain the part in the middle first. Alright, so the first one is, if you can remember, we're going to draw the first block, the first brick. Alright, so if you can tell, when I click the blocks, it keeps on adding bricks. So I can just use the repeat function to do it on itself instead of I myself pressing it manually. Alright, and then finally, when the block is placed at the left edge over here, and then it moves over to the right edge, I'm supposed to find a way to make it go up. Okay, so first I'm gonna move it -10 to the side, and then I'm gonna move it 10y up, so it's in the middle of the first of the last brick over there, to continue the pattern. Alright, and then it will draw from that side all the way to this side, and then when it reaches here, it will repeat the block above it and continue drawing the row the third row, and then the fourth row, and then the fifth row, right? Okay, so you might be wondering, what is this repeat until block, right? So there's actually a few ways you can do this. One of the ways is you manually count how many layers of bricks there are, but I'm too lazy to do that, right? So we know that the very bottom position of the canvas, the middle position is 0, and the very bottom is negative 180, and of course the very top is positive 180. Alright, so that means when our Y position is above 180, it means that it has completed the whole canvas, right? That means it has drawn through the whole canvas. Okay, so that's how I determine. So basically, when the sprite is above 180, it will know that it has completed the whole canvas, so it will stop repeating the blocks, right? So I'll run it one more time just for you guys to see. Now it's blue, so it's continuing up, 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 and then when it reaches 180 for the Y position, it will stop. And there you go. It has reached the 180 position of the Y block.